Morning Light now presents Passionately Pro-Life, a weekly segment that focuses on all the important topics from womb to tomb.
Marvelous Monday continues here at Morning Light, heard across the Salt and Light Catholic Radio Network, joined in studio by Melissa Hemphill, and special guest via Zoom, we have Kevin Burke from Rachel's Vineyard. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we are going to
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine, and we are going to be talking about Silent No More's June Shockwave, which, of course, June is for Father's Day, so we're talking about healing the dad.
Mm-hmm. Yes. When we're talking about fathers and abortion loss, we have a couple really big obstacles that we're trying to work on, those of us trying to raise awareness about this. One of the first areas is that as men, when we experience something where there's some strong and conflicting emotions and there's shame, then we want to kind of stuff that down and get away from that as soon as we can and move on with our life. A lot of men feel an immediate sense of relief after the crisis of an abortion, of an unplanned pregnancy is solved. That doesn't mean they don't have very powerful feelings, but there is that denial. On top of that, we have a culture that sends a very powerful message to men that says, you have no right to have a say in this matter. You have no right to have any feelings associated with that. So that makes it very difficult as well for them to process that experience. So that's two of the areas we're dealing with just at the outset. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How does Rachel's Vineyard address the issues that men are having?
Well, one of the ways, and any abortion recovery program can provide this possibilities, is that when you give men an opportunity to share their experience, you know, if you just ask them very quickly about it, they may say something like, it was probably the best decision at the time, or, you know, I can't really do anything about it now, so I just moved on with my life. But if you give them a chance of, tell me about the pregnancy, tell me about this decision, how did it affect your partner at the time? And what you'll find out, and I found out on many, many Rachel's Vineyard retreats with hundreds of men and hearing their stories, is that they have very strong feelings associated with their role in that abortion. And those feelings over time, as they begin to unpack that experience and look at how it impacted their life and their relationships, they see that it actually did hurt them. And it impacted their marriages, the relationship with living children. And what I also found is that with healing, that because it impacts men and women on a very deep and intimate level, abortion and their relationships, when they experience the blessing of healing, that grace and blessings really have a beautiful impact on their life in the as in the aftermath of the healing, as opposed to the aftermath of the abortion.
If you're just joining us here on Morning Light, we're talking with Kevin Burke from Rachel's Vineyard. And Kevin, we have a song here called Jacob's Heart. And before we play it for our audience here, can you kind of set it up, give us a little backstory as to how the song came about and maybe what it's about before we start listening to it?
Yes, I came across a video. It just had a few hits on it. It was a father who wrote a song about his son Jacob, who he was involved with his now wife. Before they were married, they had an unplanned pregnancy, and she decided that abortion was the best solution to that situation. She was very concerned about her family's reaction and embarrassing them, and he unfortunately went along with the cultural message that it's her decision, and he didn't really fight for the life of his child. She actually went to healing first, and then her experience of healing kind of made him realize, I need to attend to this. He went to a healing program. He wrote this beautiful song about his son, Jacob.
All right, so we're going to play that, and we'll be right back with more with Kevin Burke and Melissa Hemphill. This is Jacob's Heart.
How can I remember who I've never known? How can I see someone if he can't be shown? Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. How can I hear someone that has never talked? How can I walk with one who has never walked? Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Let me hear the beat that I never heard. Let me hold his hand, hear his first word. Don't want to think about how I made him cry. Don't want him to ever ask me why. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. How do I say I'm sorry for doing what I've done, for taking the life of my firstborn son? Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Please forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. I hope this was Jacob's prayer too. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Let me hear the sound of laughing in my ears, the playing of the games, the drying of the tears. I don't want to remember turning him away. I don't want to forget what I long to hear him say. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart.
Jacob's Heart. You're listening to Morning Light on Salt and Light Catholic Radio. Is that you singing, Kevin? Or did you find someone to sing that song? Or
That's Mike. We performed together. My colleague, Henry Genaria, he sang that one because we felt it was a real match in his voice. I played the guitar on that. He took the keyboards and he produced that. The song is by Timothy Glass. He's the father who generously shared that song about his son, and he's so thrilled that it's hopefully going to be a way to bring other men to healing.
that is beautiful.
That's an amazing song. That's
Yeah.
that's really very heartfelt. And it brings up for me, having had an abortion and not knowing what the father of my child, how he reacted, because he didn't believe that it was his child anyway. But I believe that it did affect him in the long run. And there is, I think, a common misconception that it doesn't affect men in the same way that it affects women, in that they have regret, that they have shame, that they have guilt. How does one who knows a man who has been involved in abortion, even if he doesn't find out until maybe years later, how do you try to figure it out with him and say, there really is a place that you can go, that you can talk about this, that you can go to healing, and Rachel's Vineyard is the perfect spot for them. But what do you suggest as far as that's concerned?
I think the most important thing is to get the word out to clergy, deacons, counselors, pastoral ministers of all kinds, people who are doing men's ministry of any kind, men's prayer breakfasts. Just a very simple message to these folks. Maybe share my book with them, Tears of the Fisherman, which is what I've learned over the last 20, 25 years in ministry with men. That will give kind of an oversight of some of the issues, because they may, for instance, if you're a counselor, you may see a man who comes in and he's struggling with some gambling addiction and pornography. If you don't ever ask him about, have you had any pregnancy situations you were involved in, he might not ever associate it. That could be helping to contribute to those kind of issues. A couple comes in, like the fellow who wrote that song, and he comes in and they're having marital issues. Maybe he had an affair, his wife did. If you don't ever ask that question, then you can't help point them toward healing. But even if you may now be married, have children, you're a good man, you're a good husband, and yet there's still something more that God wants for you. In the cases like this, it's not so much that you are acting out that dysfunction in your life, although many men do. It may be that God wants to further strengthen you in your faith and as a man, and he has an even stronger vocational call to you that your healing will kind of unleash in your life. And don't we see that in the Silent No More Awareness campaign and in Rachel's Vineyard, that those, as John Paul II said, those healed of their abortion will become the most eloquent defender of everyone's right to life. So part of healing our society is going to be healing those who have been part of abortion decisions in any way, but especially our society needs our men to be stronger in so many ways. We need strong fathers now, and abortion recovery will really, really help that effort.
We've been talking with Kevin Burke from Rachel's Vineyard, and in our final minute here, Kevin, if someone is seeking healing, where would they go to get more information, or maybe there's some more resources like your book that men can check out before they take that next step towards healing?
Yes, well, you can certainly go to rachelsvineyard.org. If you want to find abortion healing resources in your area, including Rachel's Vineyard and other programs, you can go to abortionforgiveness.com, abortionforgiveness.com, and you can go to tearsofthefisherman.com to get information about my book.
Fantastic. Anything to add, Melissa, before we let you guys go?
I just so appreciate you coming on, Kevin. It's so difficult to be able to get men to talk about their role in abortion, and to have you come on and highlight that abortion does affect men basically the same way that it does women, although our chemistry is different, so we react, outwardly it's different, but we so appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that to the forefront for us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin.
It's such a blessing. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. God bless you and your ministry work there at Rachel's Vineyard. We're going to take a 2-minute break and be back with Margaret Hampton from the Diocese of Boise on the other side of this as Morning Light continues on Salt and Light Radio.